Hey, what's up, fellas? How you doing, man? Antonelli here.
Hey, what's going on, guys? How we doing? Matt Antonelli here. Today we're answering your questions. Today's question is, would I ever coach at the MLB level? All right, so we're going to get into that. I think most people, when you hear that, you just assume like, yeah, he coaches baseball. Why wouldn't he want to coach at the MLB level? But it's not that simple, and I've actually have experience with this because I've been called and gone and interviewed for certain jobs at the major league level, or at least with professional organizations. And so I'm going to kind of give you the details of exactly what happened, my thought process going into those interviews and those opportunities in a second. Before we do that, today's video is sponsored by Rocket Sports. We use Rocket gear and equipment with our Antonelli baseball teams. They do an amazing job. Go and check their stuff out. Go to the description box below, click the link there. It's going to take you over to their page. You're going to be able to get 15% off your order at Rocket. Okay, so let's go back a little bit because in order to understand these opportunities and kind of what goes into it, again, a lot of people probably just assume like, yeah, if you ever got a chance to do that, you just go, just take it, right? And that's not actually the case. At least it wasn't the case for me, and I don't think it's the case for a lot of people. And so let's go back to the specific examples because I've interviewed twice. Once I interviewed for a manager's position at a minor league team. So, and the other team or the other opportunity that I had that I interviewed for was for the hitting coach position at a minor league team, and it was a pretty high minor league team. And actually, a lot of the players that were on that team at the time are now in the big leagues, and they're really, really good players. So it would have been a pretty cool opportunity if I had taken it. So let's go to the first one. And this happened back late in 2013. So to give you an idea of where I'm at in my life, because this is important, I had just finished my career. I was with the Indians in 2013. I was in AAA, and I was released during that season. And I decided I was no longer going to play. I decided I wanted to get into coaching, okay? And I started Antonelli Baseball. But I also, at the same time, I went back to Wake Forest to get my degree because I had left after my junior year and I didn't have a college degree, and that's something I wanted. And I also wasn't sure if I wanted to coach college or if I wanted to coach youth baseball. And I wanted my degree to help me if I wanted to coach college and be a head coach at the college level, that I'd have that degree to help me get a job. So I went back to Wake Forest to finish my degree, but I also called up the head coach at Wake Forest and I asked if there was any opportunity for me to come and coach on the staff. And they had a position which is called a student assistant position. So basically, I was a student trying to get my degree and I also coached, right? So I went to class and then I coached after class. So I went to Wake Forest and I did that. So while I'm there in the fall, I'm getting my experience coaching. I'm trying to figure out, do I like this college stuff? Do I think this is something I'd want to pursue? At the same time, I'm doing Antonelli Baseball, so I'm running a lot of the stuff from North Carolina. My dad is up in the Massachusetts area running our practices, but I'm doing a lot of the communication with parents and administrative stuff down there. So I get home from the fall, the fall semester. I've got winter break, and when I get home, I get a phone call. And I get it from a team, a major league team. I'm not going to say who it was, but I get a call saying, we're interested in interviewing you for a managerial or a manager position, I guess managerial position, at one of our minor league teams. Would you be interested? And it really caught me off guard because I just finished playing and I'm trying to get my life together. I'm trying to figure out, okay, I've been a baseball player my whole life. Now what I want to do. And I knew I wanted to coach, but I honestly hadn't really thought about going the professional route just because I had no coaching experience. So I was a little off guard, but I was interested. I wanted to go and I wanted to interview first. I never really interviewed for anything. I'd always been a baseball player. And so I'd done some, I guess I'd done some interviewing for baseball spots. Like when I was getting drafted, I had to go and talk with, I met with general managers and scouting directors and stuff like that. But I'd never gone on an interview really for what I considered something outside of my comfort zone. Playing baseball was my comfort zone. And so I went. And funny story, I woke up early because I had to go meet with a couple different people within the organization. And I went to try on my suit. And my wife had been telling me for like a week. She'd been like, Matt, make sure your suit fits because you've lost like 30 pounds since you stopped playing, right? Now it's been about 6 months since I'd stopped playing, maybe a little bit longer than that. We're in probably December. And I played at like 215 and I weighed like 180 something, right? Maybe 180. And I was like, nah, I'll be fine. I put that suit on in the morning before I went to my interview. And if you've ever seen the movie Big with Tom Hanks, it was like at the end of the movie when Tom Hanks is, well, he's big, and then he's walking down the street, and all of a sudden he goes back to being the kid, and he's got the adult suit on still. Like, that's what I look like. I'm sorry if I just ruined the end of the movie for you, but the movie was made like 40 years ago, so you should have probably watched it by now. Anyways, that's what I look like. So then I freaked out, and I had to get to this interview. I called my brother-in-law, and I was like, dude, do you have any suits, anything that I could wear? And he was like, yeah, go over to my house. So I went over, I tried it on, fit perfectly, and then I walked into the interview feeling pretty good. But I was freaking out a little bit. I was. So I do the interview. I end up meeting with a bunch of people, and I don't even remember their positions. I know that one was the assistant general manager, who's actually now the general manager of a major league team. I did not meet with the actual general manager of this team, but I met with like a couple of people in the front office that had more to do with the minor league side of things, I think. And so it was really, really interesting because, again, I had to prepare for this. I'd never done this before. So I had to start to kind of get my philosophy together. And I'd never coached before, right? So I'm kind of making this up as I'm going along. I'm totally not prepared. But I'm starting to put myself in a coach's or manager's shoes and I start to say, okay, what would I do in this situation? What's my philosophy? And so it's really cool to be able to go through that process. I learned a lot about the entire process and how everything works, and I got some really good experience interviewing, and I think I did a pretty good job, even though I was kind of just winging it. Until I went to the assistant general manager's office, and he was like, so the other guys I met with were really nice, and then I went into his office, and he was like basically yelling at me. I think he wanted to just see my reaction, and it caught me a little bit off guard, and then I started getting kind of heated. And but anyways, he was asking questions like basically, I think he wanted to make sure that I wanted to do this, right? I'm a high pick out of college. I played for a long time. I made a decent amount of money. Do I really want to go all the way back down to the bottom of the minor leagues and work my way back up again? And so he was kind of making sure that I wanted to do that. And so he was reminding me of all the shitty things about minor league baseball and wanted to know how I would react. You know, if you're dealing with a player that tells you to go F yourself, and all these different examples, and, you know, what are you going to do about it? And how are you going to develop, you know, if we give you one of our star players, how are you going to work with him versus maybe somebody that's a non-prospect? And so those are the questions I'm getting asked. So I go through the whole process, okay? I think I do a decent job. I leave, and I'm actually kind of impressed. I'm like, man, I thought I was going to not do very well, but I think I did okay. And so I go home, and a few weeks pass, and they say, you know, we're down to basically two people, you and one other person. And we're going to, I think they were actually meeting with them again. And they said, he's probably going to take another week or so. Well, I had to go back to school. I had to go back to Wake Forest. My spring semester was starting. And so I said to him, listen, I'm going to have to know in the next couple of days because I've got to go back to school. And I said, I've already, you know, Coach Walter down at Wake Forest gave me this awesome opportunity to be able to coach. And so I said, I've got to let them know. And they said, well, it's going to take a little bit longer than that. We're going to need another few weeks. And so I decided to just kind of pull out of the opportunity. I decided that I was going to go back to Wake, and I was going to just continue on the path that I was kind of already set on. And I don't know if I was going to get that spot or not, but I did talk to someone in the organization down the road, and they were like, man, you shouldn't have pulled out of that. Like, I think you were going to get the job. It looked like you were. But, you know, I was set on at that point, right? And I'm trying to get my life in order, but I was set on either college or Antonelli baseball, and I figured, you know, now's not the best time. And maybe down the road, maybe things change. But for right now, we've set this up. Coach gave me this opportunity. I'm getting my degree. I'm doing what I wanted to do. Let's just play this out and see what happens. And so I finished that up. I ended up coaching college for a couple of years. I get out of college. I go full-time Antonelli baseball, right? So now I'm growing Antonelli baseball the next couple of years, and things are going great. I'm loving what I'm doing. And then I get another call, and this was a little less than probably 2 years ago. And it's from another organization, and they want to interview me for a hitting position. So a minor league hitting coach at a high level, AA, AAA. And the organization, actually, the place I was probably going to end up going had a lot of really, really top prospects. A lot of them are actually in the big leagues right now. So it would have been a really, really cool place to go. But again, I'm at this point now where I've got a 3-year-old son, and my daughter was like just born, I think, at that point. And so I got 2 little kids, and my wife's already been, she's doing a lot with them. And so I'm not sure if I want to go and do this. It's going to be back on the road again. I'm talking to my wife, and she's like, if you take this, you're going to be back, doing the whole minor league thing again, just like you were doing 10 years ago, or more than 10 years ago. Is that what you want to do? And so I wasn't sure, but I went on the interview. Okay, so I fly down, and I do the whole interview in a day. You fly down there, you meet with a bunch of different people, and I know a lot of you probably done interviews before. I haven't. And so the cool part is I'm meeting and talking with a lot of people that I know who they are. Some of them one's an ex-major league manager for a long time. They're a bunch of people that, everybody knows. And so it's really cool to be able to do that. And I get asked a lot of questions during these things. So again, I have to kind of put my thoughts together. And now I'm a little better at it because I've been coaching for a while. And I have a better understanding of what I'm trying to do as a coach. But also, it's cool to be able to ask questions. So I get to ask them questions, and I'm able to learn even more. So really cool opportunity. End up coming home. So I fly down, do the whole thing, fly home the same day. And then, I don't know, maybe a week or so later, they call me back and they say, so what do you think? Do you want to do it? I don't know if that was me getting the job or not, or if they were just seeing what I said. And if I said I want to do it, they say, okay, well, we're going to wait a little bit longer. But they basically asked me what I'm thinking. And I talked to my wife a lot. Again, part of it was having to be on the road again and go back in the minor leagues, kind of grind out. And I know I'm going to a higher level, but I don't know. Maybe I got to be a hitting coach there forever. And if I'm going to do it, I'm doing it because I want to coach in the big leagues, right? Just like as a player. When I played in the minors because I wanted to get to the big leagues. As a coach, I'd coach in the minors because I wanted to get to the big leagues, right? And so I talked to my wife. And there's a lot of things we discussed. One, going back to the minor leagues. Got to be on the road a lot. Now, what they wanted me to do is they want me to go to spring training, right? So I'm going to go spring training in February, March. I'm going to go this season, April till August. September, I'm going to go to fall ball, instructional league down in Florida. And then in the winter, I'm going to go to Dominican, their academy in the Dominican. And so it's a year-round thing. I'm doing a lot of traveling. I'm living back in a hotel again, out of a suitcase. And that's a lot when you get 2 little kids, right? And I'm at a point now where I've got a business that's doing really, really well. And so it's a big decision. Do I leave that and go kind of start all over? And I can't do Antonelli baseball really anymore. I'd have to put other people in charge, and then it's really not Antonelli baseball like it is right now. The other thing is that you have to think about that a lot of people don't think about, because again, a lot of people just think like, yeah, it's professional baseball, it's Major League Baseball, like just go and do it. From a salary perspective, what I get paid, I probably make what I was offered to do that job. I'm probably making, I don't know, 6 times as much as that doing what I'm doing right now. And I'm able to do it from here, local, right near my house, 15 minutes away, right? And I'm able to kind of create my own schedule. I can work a ton if I want to do tons of lessons and clinics and all this stuff, or I can work a little bit less if things get crazy and I want to take some off time. I'd say I can go on vacations when I want, but I am pretty busy. But if I wanted to be like, no, I'm not going to coach as much, I could go on vacation more. So there's a lot more flexibility with what I'm doing right now. And after talking for a while with my wife again, I decided to not take the job, all right? And would I have loved doing it? Yep. Would I love trying to get back to the big leagues as a coach this time? Yep. It'd be awesome. But when you're dealing with the real world, there's a lot of other things that come with it. And so if this was fantasy world and I could just be like, yeah, I can if I could just freeze time, put everything on hold and go do it, yeah, we'd do that. It'd be fun. But I can't freeze time. So, and I'd miss the biggest thing, again, not only helping my wife with the kids, but I'd miss a lot of stuff with my kids, right? Like now I get to go to all my kids' stuff. I get to go to his t-ball games. I get to go to my son and daughter's soccer games, and I get to do all that stuff. And I wouldn't probably have that opportunity. I could maybe squeeze in some things here and there, but I'm going to be on the road a lot if I take that job. And so is it something down the road, maybe when my kids get older, now that I've kind of thought about it and gone through the process, as my kids get older, is it something I do down the road? Maybe. It might be. I really enjoy doing Antonelli baseball right now. I really like what I'm doing. I love working with the kids that we have in the program and our coaches. And so I'm really happy doing that. But who knows what happens as I get older. And, if I'm doing this for 20 years, 25 years, who knows? Maybe at that point an opportunity comes along. Maybe it doesn't, and I just keep doing this, which I'm sure I'd be really, really happy with. But that's a long-winded answer for, would you coach in the major leagues or try to coach in the major leagues? Like, yeah, I think I would, and I think it'd be really fun. But right now, I don't think so. I wouldn't take that opportunity right this second. I enjoy what I'm doing too much and all the other things that come with it. So hopefully that helps you guys out a little bit. Let me know if you have any more questions in the comment section below. This is a question I get all the time from people. Hey, Matt, you're a coach. Why don't you try to coach in the major leagues? Why don't you try to coach in professional baseball? Why don't you reach out to people? That'd be really cool. And, I wanted to get in depth a little bit because, again, it's not always as easy as people kind of think. Like, yeah, it's a better opportunity because it's a higher level, right? I'm working with mostly high school and some college and young kids. So it's got to be a better opportunity if to go coach with professional players, right? Could be, but not always the case. So that's all we got. Thanks for the question. Let me know in the comment section if you have any more questions. Give it a thumbs up, share with all your friends, all that good stuff, and we'll talk to you later.